Hello, 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 and welcome to Foxglove Coaching Spiritual Guidance. So today we're looking at what is the full moon in Aquarius helping you to release that no longer serves you and why. So with every full moon, there's an opportunity to release what no longer serves us. Just like with every new moon, it's the potential for new beginnings and what we're bringing in. So just take a moment to have a little look at each of the individual cards. I'll put the timestamps below so that whichever one you're drawn to, you can go directly to the reading. Just take a few nice deep breaths and just pick whichever one stands out to you the most. And we'll get into looking at what is going on for you around this full moon, which is actually at its fullest tomorrow on the 19th of August. So it's meant to be a full moon. According to Yasmine Boland in her Moonology diary, which I'll put a link in the description, it's meant to be quite a challenging but a really big deal of a week this week, because there's something special about the moon, and I'm not an astrologer, but I do like to keep up with what's going on if I can, because I think what's going on out there in the cosmos affects us all tremendously. So apparently it's a bit, is your glass half empty or half full? And Jupiter and Saturn are about, one of whom is about plenty, one of whom is about lack. So it can be a real week of ups and downs, black and white, challenging, easy flow, things that are conflicting, really. So let's have a look, make a choice about which one speaks to you, and let's get into it. Pile number 1, welcome. So you have picked the lovely No Place Like Home card with the dried lavender. So let's have a look at this beautiful card, and it goes really nicely with the purple of the lavender. I'm just going to pop that to one side just briefly, because it drops its little bits everywhere and makes a right mess. So the No Place Like Home card. So we're looking at what you are releasing and why during this full moon in Aquarius. So the No Place Like Home card suggests that you are focusing either on where you are going to reside, location-wise, or which house, or where you are going to spend your time, where you feel safe, and where your tribe is, where your family are, where your friends are. Where is the right place for you to go to? Now, you may have put this notion aside for now. You may have stopped wondering about whether you're in the right tribe or not, whether you're in the right location, or whether you're in the right place or not. And the lavender going with this is showing that lavender is very reflective of rest. So it's time to take a rest and just take some time out, soothe yourself. It's so healing. So during this full moon, it's asking you to leave behind the notion that you've got to make a change, make a shift, start going to different places and doing different things. Rest in the place where you feel secure, with the people that you feel comfortable with. This blues and pinks and lavender colours are all very soothing, very calming, very restful. And look at the light and the glow coming out of that house there. It's full of light and shining. It's beautiful, beautiful card. So let's have a little bit of a look. I'll just pop that up there. Or what else we've got. So I've already shuffled the card and picked some. So Spirit, why? What is it? Sorry, Luna barked a little bit then, don't know what happened. So what is it that we're leaving behind? So let's have a look. Okay, so this is the Six of Swords. This is all about journey and travel. So that ties in with this element about there's no place like home. It's kind of a time where you need to stay in a place where you feel safe and secure, where you're not adventuring during this full moon. we've got the King of Wands. Just put these down here and we'll have a look what the bigger picture says. We've got the Ace of Swords. Very, very nice indeed. And then we've got the Nine of Swords. So if we just consider what this is saying so far. So it's saying the full moon in Aquarius is asking you to leave behind the notion of going anywhere or moving on or exploring at this point, because it's asking you to stay in a place that's comfortable where you can rest and take time to enjoy a bit of healing, so that your heart space and the ideas of what you want in life, you can start being more of a heart-centered idea about what you want rather than using your logical mind. And by going into your heart and sort of feeling where you want to be and what you want to do, that will bring clarity. And this is very much about clarity. And it will take away all the worry and anxiety that your mind has been creating by trying to figure out where you should be. So this card here, look, you can see, I don't know if you can see closely enough, it says at the bottom, anxiety, worry. The swords very much represent what's going on in the mind, so the busyness, and you know, you might have not been able to sleep for worrying about what to do, and so this again might be why the lavender is part of this reading, because you need rest. You've worn yourself out with trying to figure out who you should be spending time with, where you should be, what you should be doing, when all you should be doing is having a nice rest in the place, in a secure environment, and not worrying about anything too much at the minute, so that you can be in a position where you are fully in tune with your heart space, and that the ideas about what to do with your future will come from your heart space. So why has this happening for you, other than the worry and anxiety that this consideration has been causing you? So we've got waterproof. So you are more resilient than you think you are. And maybe you felt like you need to consider going elsewhere because of some sort of resilience to the future or to people around you. Let's see what else we've got. Why else, Spirit? Is there an element? Okay, so we've got the little crow is secretly storing things away for later, because now is not the right time to be doing anything with these items that it's keeping. So what it's saying along this reading is that you are resilient. Stop worrying about where you should be and where you should be going and what you should be doing. Tune into your heart space, and that will give you full clarity about what you want in life. Now is not the right time for considering where you should be, who your tribe are, and things like that. Just rest in what is safe and secure right now. Let's have a look at what the challenge card is. So the challenge is, oh, isn't that beautiful? Look. Love and consideration of others, a loyal heart. So you may have made promises to other people, and I like the fact we've got the keys here, which ties in with the fact that you may have been looking at where to spend your time. You may have promised others that you're going to do something, and now you're worried about changing your mind, or you may have made some sort of commitment to somebody else about what you're going to do, about where you live, or where you're going to spend your time, or who you're going to spend your time with, and you now feel that you've got to change your mind because you need to let that go just during this period of time, so that you can rest and let go of any anxieties and worries, because now is not the time to make any moves just yet, not during this full moon period. if you speak to them honestly and openly from your heart, they may, be upset about not getting what they want, but it doesn't mean it's gone forever. It just means that now is not the right time. So just be your true and honest and open self. And if you are meeting, like here, if you are meeting in a point where your energies come together and you're meeting in a heart space, then you can work together to look at what this could be for the future. So let's just get some advice cards for you so we can start to see. So it's saying, instead of focusing on where you're going to be, start focusing on what you want to do. Claim your art can be anything. It doesn't have to be literally painting and drawing. It can be healing. It can be energy work. It can be, if you're really good with cars, it can be mechanics. If you're really good at cooking, it can be baking and making all sorts of amazing meals. It's whatever you are good at. Spend time where you are now, doing what you are good at and enjoying that and working to make that even better than ever. Let's get some more advice and look forward to the future in a positive way. So just allow the ideas, by putting time into creative endeavours that you are really good at. It builds self-esteem, it builds that energy and strength in your heart. It will build the resilience of who you are even more, so that you can weather any storm, because you'll have firm foundations. Like this castle, castles were built so that you can't knock them down, and you can have the people that you want, the tribes that you want within this castle, so you're safe and sound. And it's time to, sometimes we need to be in the like when you plant a seed of an idea, it needs time to germinate. It needs time to start to get some energy behind it, so before it flourishes and starts to really grow. So just allow that time at the minute to start to enjoy what you're really good at, so that you can think about how you can potentially put that out there in the future. Let's just get a couple of more. Just running out of space a little bit. So interestingly, it's telling you to take a risk. So step out, let me hold this up so you can see it a little bit closer. Step out of your comfort zone. Feeling safe and secure is a wonderful experience, but if we remain in our safe zone for fear of change, we create a limiting and restrictive environment that can ultimately lead to stagnation and the loss of our creative potential to manifest our greatest contribution in the world. Let go of fear and take a risk. Now that's interesting, really, that it's come after these two cards, because it suggests that you should be looking at what you're really, really good at and really, really enjoy, and what fills your heart, and then look forward to what you could potentially do with that, and then take a step to actually do it. So this is why we're being asked to stay still, to stay where we are physically, or with the tribe and things, not to rock the boat too much at the minute on that side of things, because you need to be looking at what you can do, what you're good at and what you can put out there. And if you're changing the environment that you're in, it's maybe too many things to cope with at the same time, and it wouldn't necessarily flourish, because we want to put all our energy into what matters right now. So let's just get one final advice card. So that final advice card is stand your ground. So it says this card brings in a clear message, whether in pragmatic action or in holding firm to your own principles and to your own opinions. Whatever your situation, do not give way. This is not a time to back down. This time is right to hold your own and stand your ground. And that's probably because you've changed direction. The people who you might need to talk to about changing direction may be a bit confused about why you've changed direction, but it's because you're coming from your heart space rather than your head. And so just stick with it, because as long as you're coming from your heart space, it will be the right thing to do. Now, I've got one final card, which is just about a conclusion to this full... Oh, in fact, there's one missing up here. So this fell out. Okay, so it's the Hierophant. You've got so many keys in this reading. There's keys there. You've got... Well, there's not a key there, but it's a house, which usually comes with keys. Oh, perhaps there aren't as many keys as I thought. Just some here and some here. But interestingly, there's 2 keys in both, and a joining of 2 keys. So I wonder if the reason you need to stay here is because you may come into partnership, whether that's work-wise, friendship, or romantically, with somebody else in the environment that you're in as well. Obviously, if you're already in a romantic relationship or anything, just take what resonates and leave behind what doesn't. But there's some element, I feel, where it's coming up that something you may be being asked to stay here, not only to focus on what you're good at, but also to create another connection through relationships. So we'll just leave that there. But the Hierophant tends to be about spiritual elements as well. So potentially, or finding a new teacher, or becoming a teacher. Usually more spiritually wise, but that can even be if you're advising young people with the wisdom that you have in life from a mentor teacher perspective. It can be about sharing information with friends and wisdom with friends of an experience that you've had before, but also of somebody actually being able to support you in that way. There may be a person around you who's able to support you through the changes and shifts you want to make, especially if you're trying to start something new. Just with this, claim your art and take the risk. So I'm just going to pop, I don't know if I've got much room left. Let's put that just there, just for now, so you can still see that. And then the final card, oh, interesting, is energy work. So the concluding card we've got in this reading, it says life can be electrifying because its very essence is energy. Your body is a remarkable energy field that will positively respond to loving treatments. Your hands and heart are activated to give healing energy to your loved ones and clients. Okay, so first of all, I'd say make sure, because we've got the lavender here, make sure that you have enough, that you are receiving healing if you need it, energetically, for yourself and from others if possible. So you can always get a Reiki treatment, a distance Reiki treatment, energy healing work from other people, but also take that time to make sure that you are looking after yourself, getting enough rest, getting enough sleep. See how that little child is just asleep very comfortably in there and being taken care of by the angels. Allow spirit and the beautiful energies around us to just coddle you and nurture you. And if you open up to spirit healing you and ask them to do so before you go to sleep, they will do that while you're sleeping. But also, this could be in relevance to claiming your art. So if you wanted to do some sort of spiritual or healing work as something that is more prominent in your life, it's telling you to consider what options might be out there for you and to take a risk. I've run out of space, look. And to take a risk with what you're doing so that you can make this part of your life as well. If that's what this is about, it might be, like I said, to do with different things, and it might just be that you need to rest. But just take those things into consideration. This is a really, really nice reading. I'm going to pop that there. I don't know if it quite fits in. And I'm just going to pop those there so you can see those cards and the flow of the message that we've got. So, wishing you all the best for this full moon in Aquarius time. It looks like you've got some really exciting things going on in life. Hoping you live in happiness and love. And I'll now move on to pile 2. Thanks for watching. Actually, just to add on before you go, if you do want to book a reading with me, you can pop on to www.foxglovecoaching.com. At the minute, I'm doing readings for an hour at £50 as a bit of an introductory thing, just while I get my YouTube channel up and running. I have been working with cards and doing spiritual practices and working with spirit for well over 20 years. So just feel free to pop onto my website. There's an option in the Let's Talk for spiritual guidance readings. You can just fill that form in there and it will take you to my email address, and then I can contact you and we can sort something out. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of your week. Take care. Goodbye. Hello, pile 2. Welcome to today's reading. We'll be looking at what the full moon in Aquarius is helping you to release and why. So with this first card, with the second card that we've got here, I'd say that because it's called To Be Fair and it's all about justice and wisdom, I'd say there's a release of what is no longer fair to you. So if there's been activities taking place that are not just, if there are injustices happening in your world, then you're going to start to move away from those as part of this full moon. Also, the little flower we've got here, as you can see, it's a dried rose and it's a little bit broken. So roses often connect us to our heart space. So there may be an issue where there's been a disconnect with your heart space, or a disconnect with, the love in your heart and issues around your heart space. So we're just going to pop that over there. We're going to put that up there and we're going to have a look at the other cards that we've got that I've shuffled. So the first one we have got is an Ace of Wands. I'm just going to put that there. So that's usually, you'll be able to see it says career, beginnings or travel. I'd say the Ace of Wands, especially look how we've got the full moon there. That's very auspicious, isn't it? And the snake is climbing up that branch towards that full moon. This was Ace of Wands represents a new idea, a new project, or an idea or a project that is taking place. It can be a new career. It's asking that just is released for now. Let's have a look why. So that you can focus on being more in your heart space. So quite often the Knight of Cups is a very romantic person, and maybe you haven't had chance to focus on issues of the heart or romance or self-love. It's interesting we've got this broken flower here. So let's just see what else we've got as well going through this reading. Oh, we've got the Devil, which is about fears, obsession. We've got the snake in that one again, climbing up things, which is really, really interesting. And the rose just there. Let me get some of these cards out so we can see what the bigger story is. We've got the King of Swords, which is very much about logic, ambition, empowerment, really, also. So I'd say from looking at the cards so far, there's an idea or a project that's needed to be left behind, because maybe you're even not being fair to yourself by pushing yourself through it, because there needs to be a focus on a softer, more romantic side of yourself, whether that's romance with another person or creating a softer environment for you, because at the minute there's too many harshities and fears and obsessing about issues to do with unfairness or lack of justice. you might find that you're being too logical about things, which all ties in. It seems so with I said at the start, the full moon in Aquarius can be about extremes of black and white. My cup's too full, my cup's too empty. It's like this the two extremes. At the minute, you've got too much logic against what needs a heart element to be applied to it, and also about a degree of self-empowerment. The snake can be representative of the Kundalini coil lifting in you, so you may be going through certain changes and shifts of opinion because the spiritual element of you is becoming more embodied in the day-to-day being of who you are. Let's just have a look at why this is happening. Oh, look at that resistance. So, sometimes life will apply pressure to you so that you'll learn your lessons. It will hold you back by not letting, like it's a hard journey this is. See how the poor little crow is losing its feathers because it's fighting so hard to get to where it needs to go. And maybe that's what's been happening. There's something that you've been pushing and fighting for that just isn't happening because you're using too much of your logical mind, and it's ending up where fears and you're becoming obsessive about it, whereas actually you need to soften into the heart element because you're hurting. There's an element of you that's hurting heart-wise, whether it's heartbreak, emotional. Let's see what else there is. Why? Oh, okay, so it's, again, yes, stepping out of the logical element so that you have time to play. So I love the fact that this first crow is in the storm, really fighting and going, oh my goodness, I just can't get through it, so much so I'm losing my feathers. Whereas in this other card, there's a storm going on, but the crows are playing in it. They're going with the flow of what's going on and enjoying things and having fun. And this is why whatever is not working out for you at the minute and why things have been so hard is happening, because there comes a point where you just have to throw things to one side and go, okay, I give up, let's play and just have fun and just allow the inner child out instead of being instead of things either being so harsh on you or instead of you being so harsh to yourself. What is the challenge at the minute? Oh, that's interesting. So the challenge that we've got is soulmates. Now, this may be that you're wishing to find a soulmate, and maybe you're pushing too hard at trying to do that. So you might be pushing too hard with the idea of finding a soulmate, or actually you're trying to impress someone and pushing yourself too hard rather than just relaxing and playing. And if you get into this relaxing and playing, it will make any relationship, whether you're looking for it or whether it already exists, so much easier, because once you get out of your headspace and out of being logical and into your heart space, it just makes everything so much easier to flow, especially in love. So you have to slow down and allow, if you slow your speed down, it helps you to feel more love and it helps things to come to you. This tension is never going to allow love in. Whether it's another person who's being this tense that you're trying to be in a soulmate relationship with, and that can be a romantic relationship. It can also be friends, part of your soul tribe or your family. If we keep pushing and pushing and pushing at something, it's going to cause issues within a relationship. So let's see, what advice have we got for you? Accept things as they are. Stop fighting against them. Stop trying to make them something else. Stop worrying about them. Stop obsessing about it. Just relax and enjoy yourself. Even if it does seem like there's injustices and you're wanting to achieve something, just relax so that you can, once you settle into where you are now, you can then reassess what's going on. We can end up in a bit of a panic about what's going on and try and push things along. Let's see what other advice you've got for you. Face your shadow side. Are you maybe being a bit too controlling? Do you have fears that you need to be comfortable and accept within yourself? You know, by facing who you are and accepting who you are entirely, even if there's parts of you that you think are bad. Because remember, the parts of us that we usually think are bad, other people see and do not see anything bad in them whatsoever. It's just our own perceptions. And that, by allowing you to accept who you fully are, certainly helps massively with the soulmate connection, whether it's in your tribe, your family, or with a romantic love or potential romantic love. It's so important that we fully accept who we are and love who we are just as we are, because then other people will be able to love us unconditionally as well. Okay, so I mentioned control a minute ago. It's time to trust the divine plan. And I love the fact that as the full moon in Aquarius brings us duality and oppositions, we've got the moon here and the sun here, you know, just have faith that everything's working out as it will. Stop trying to fight against things and trying to push them to happen. Just relax and play. Just another advice card. Yeah, just be careful not to engage in any dramas, because it's not healthy for us. It can feel fun sometimes, but at the end it just messes up our nervous system. It ends up where we can get a bit involved with the ego element. It ties in very much with the devil. So just be sure to breathe, take nice deep breaths, relax, and recognise that everybody is doing the best. Everybody is doing the best that they can in the life that they're in. And it's all to do with perceptions and how you see yourself, how you see your role in this story that is your life. And sometimes people get the perception of what that role is. It's not quite right and it can be changed, but they don't realise how easily it can be changed. So just observe and detach from any outbursts of emotion or anybody trying to create something that isn't real, because in the end only love is truly real. So the final card that we've got to help you, in fact I've done it again with this one. There's two that came out here just as a additional. So oops, my little earplugs keep falling out. I've got these ear pods, just bear with me, apologies for that. So the two cards that have fallen out, I hope you can't hear that music on this, we'll see afterwards. I might have to cut that out a little bit. So the two cards that have fallen out is the Seven of Cups, which is about starting to just have ideas about what you want in life, starting to think about all the different potentials and possibilities, to help to heal your heart in some way. So we've got the Three of Swords here, which tends to be about heartache and issues with grief or sorrow, but to heal your heart space. There's so many wonderful, beautiful, amazing things in the world that we can do, we can see, we can be, we can experience. To start to think about those different things to enable this grief or sorrow or heartbreak to heal. I'll put those here. Maybe this is connected to the soulmates element potentially. And I'll just put that there. And then the final card, just to conclude this reading that I've pulled out, is listen. So it says, quiet your mind, beloved one, and listen to our gentle reassurance that everything has been taken care of. Stay in a quiet and receptive state without worrying about the exact nature of your desire's manifestation. A quiet mind and body hears us quickly and clearly. This is our request to you. Listen. So that ties in very nicely, because in this reading it looks like you've got potential ego elements at play, either where they're trying to protect you or where other people are maybe being unfair or unjust towards you. But certainly this detach from drama card can be quite a message about trying to make sure you don't buy into other people's ego stories. And what you actually want to do is to calm your nervous system away from fear and anxiety and worry, away from resistance and trying to push forward with things, and just to take some nice, deep, calming breaths so that you can start to hear yourself and the information that's coming from your heart space and from spirit. Because the calmer you are and the more relaxed you are, the more natural pieces of information will come through to you, either through a song or through something on the radio. I'm wondering if the music that keeps popping into my headphones is actually a sign. The song that keeps coming on is "The music sounds better with you." So perhaps it's, now that I'm listening genuinely, perhaps it's actually about spending time with people who make you feel good about yourself, and that will start to heal your heart as well and get you in the right place. So I'll leave that with you, wishing you lots of love, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Take care. Goodbye. Oh, also, again, I forgot to mention on the last one, if you want to book any individual readings with me, one-to-one readings, you can do that by going on to www.foxglovecoaching.com, and there's a section that says Let's Talk, and you can pick an option of spiritual guidance reading, and we can do a one-to-one reading. And at the minute I'm doing an hour for £50 as a bit of an introductory element to get my YouTube channel up and running a bit more. I have been working with spirit as a medium and psychically for well over 20 years now, so I look forward to hearing from you, and have a wonderful week. Take care. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. Hello, pile 3. So today we are looking at what the full moon in Aquarius is removing from us that no longer serves us, and why. So this first card, I love this. Look at the little owl on that card, isn't it? Absolutely, or she, or they, absolutely gorgeous. So, and I love the fact they're standing on a mask look. So the wisdom of the owl, although the owl does look a little bit alarmed, as it opens itself so that it can be seen, the truth can be seen within it. So this this time is all about removing masks. Now then, in my honesty, my little dog has just jumped up behind me and disturbing everything. So just bear with me a second while I make a space for Luna to sit down. Sorry about this. And maybe this is part of it, getting sidetracked while you're trying to reveal your honesty to the world. But that sometimes helps, because when we take the attention off who we are, actually we can more easily be our normal selves. Now, this is with the wheat, which is about harvest time. So for me, this card is reflecting that you are leaving behind an old version of yourself, an old identity. Something has come to fruition and to the point of totality where you are now free to be open and honest about who you are, what you do, and you're going to start putting yourself out there and leaving the old version of what you were presenting to the world behind. And this is all in love, and I want to say it's all in self-love, as those hearts float around that beautiful little owl there. So should we have a look at what else we have got in this reading for you today? And I'll put that there. Now I want to put it over here just for now. Luna wants to eat it. Oops, I keep losing these little earbuds. So apologies for that. I'll just try and put... I think my ears are a strange shape. Because they just don't fit. Right, let's see what cards we have got. So we've got the Emperor, which can be either a father figure or an authority figure, or a status quo for how things are done. You know, the rules and regulations of why things are done in a certain way. So that is part of what we're leaving behind. We're leaving behind, so it may be relating to something to do with the father figure or somebody in authority, and you may have just physically left them behind, like I've just had to leave my dad in America to come back to England for a bit, in order to be the truthful version of myself in certain ways, and to be able to speak my truth openly and honestly, so that I can start doing this YouTube channel as well, which is a brilliant thing. But it's also sometimes about leaving the structures that we once knew behind. So maybe leaving corporate kind of elements behind, or just rules and regulations that are no longer relevant to who you are now. Let's see what else we've got. And we're doing this so that we can be more youthful in our approach to the world, so that we can communicate. And this can often be a messenger where we've had some sort of inclination or message from spirit or physically, you know, in the 3D world, in which something allows us to be more light-hearted and more youthful about who we are. We can get quite bogged down. These are kind of opposites, really, in some ways, where this is the more structured, sensible, ordered way of going on, whereas the Page of Wands is more jovial, more flamboyant, you know, like a teenager. There's no restrictions on them, and that's kind of what we're entering now. So what other things are being removed? So let's just have a look what's here. So there's some sort of notion where maybe an element of security, or there's fear that you may have to step away from certain tribes, family members, or comfort. I want to say this is stepping out of the comfort zone, really, so that you can be your true, honest self. And then we're walking through a gateway. So this tends to be, ones tend to be about ideas, projects. You can see this one, plans, partnership, influence. So we're stepping out of a comfort zone so that we can go out and be influencers, so that we can be walking through that doorway to a whole new world that allows us to put our ideas and our creativity into action, which is just fantastic. So why are we having to make these changes? So it's interesting. We've got survival coming up here. So maybe there's an element that's a test of faith, or maybe it's actually going to give us better opportunities in the future for how we live. Let's Let's just see what else we've got as well. So this also is, why is this happening? So interestingly, we've got distraction. So I think previously we were distracted in life about how we survived. We were distracted by maybe what we thought we should be doing and what we thought that would give to us, when actually I don't believe it has given us everything that we needed. I want to say we've been living in the 3D rather than in the heart-centered spiritual element of how to live. So we've been living in the logical place of how we should progress in life, whereas actually this walking through creativity. So it's all about what your perceptions are, what you think you can have. See, the two positive cards are all about the wands, ideas, creativity, liveliness, youthfulness. So this may well be to do with how you make an income, or just how you go through your world. And so you've suddenly revealed yourself as you truly are, stepping away from conformity and restrictions, but also stepping out of your comfort zone. Let's see what the challenge is. Oh, look at that. And I get that one. The challenge is that you're ready to fly. And the reason this is a challenge is because sometimes you've got to be really patient while the divine nature of things takes its course to enable you to shift into who you are as an authentic version of yourself. It can be a huge shift to go from this very ordered way of being to step out of a comfort zone. It can take much longer than, certainly, having been through this before, I have experienced that this can take a bit of time, because we have something called cognitive dissonance, in which the mind believes one story of who you are, and then it's got to alter to be in this different version of who you are. And it's, the manifestation of a whole new life doesn't necessarily just happen overnight. Even if you win the lottery overnight, it doesn't mean that you're going to live embodied in that, way of being completely abundant and whatever. There can be a period of time that you need to go through just to allow yourself to get ready to fly. Just like when a little fledgling is born, the bird doesn't just push it out the nest straight away so that it goes, oh yeah, off you go, fly. No, it needs time to develop. It needs time to practice. Just as the shift of not being able to fly moves over to the actual embodiment of being able to fly. I hope that made sense. I might have waffled on a little bit there. Anyway, let's get some advice cards around this. So don't worry, don't wobble, don't lose faith. Are you having a wobble? Whether a minor one or a major one, this is completely understandable. You are facing tough choices, but deep inside yourself, you know what you need to do. This card is here to validate your deeper knowing and the decision that you are making. As you move forward, your anxiety will ease and you will find your balance. So this is a bit like, as you're finding your way into the new world as a new being, with the new identity, if you've been through a massive spiritual shift, and I say that because, we've got the different chakras here, it can be nerve-wracking. You can feel quite vulnerable, a bit like a newborn child trying to learn to walk. It can be quite a tricky time when you've gone through a massive shift and you're going into a new endeavour, whether that's internally or externally. Let's see what other advice we've got. Open yourself to possibilities. Be careful not to limit your mindset because you're coming out of a comfort zone. So sometimes out of a notion of self-protection, we can suddenly shut down because we're afraid of what we might not get, rather than remaining open to everything we might get. And I love this because this looks like where my family live in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina, and the sun is shining there, and just the vastness. So when I'm going to just say so when I stood looking out at the Blue Ridge Mountains where my family live, and at the minute I am in Derbyshire in England, but my family also live in Tennessee and North Carolina. As you look out over the expanse of those mountains, you can't help but feel utter reverence for how humongous and majestic life is, how beautiful this planet is. And it just makes you recognise that you can't be responsible for everything, because you've just got to believe in something bigger and more divine, because it's absolutely glorious. And it's just such a wonderful thing. So, almost everyone holds some limiting beliefs about themselves. These perceptions block us from receiving the infinite support of the universe. So be careful not to go into a mentality of lack, whether that's around, a mentality of lack can be about not having enough people, that there aren't enough people available to you, that you won't get enough money, that you won't have enough sustenance. There's all sorts of things. It's not just about financial. This card is an invitation to reassess and to look beyond these limitations, and to recognise that in opening yourself to possibility, you automatically invite positive change into your life. How beautiful. And I'm just going to say it on pile 3 because I've forgotten every other time I've done the other piles. If you do want to work with me, I'm a master NLP practitioner, and also you can book individual spiritual guidance readings with me. Just have a look at more about what I do on www.foxglovecoaching.com, and there's all sorts of options, and I can support you through this opening yourself up to possibility and helping you to steer clear of a mentality of lack. So I'm just going to do a couple more advice cards. So we've got looking forward into the future. Don't worry about what's been, don't worry about what's now. Just know that your future can be hugely abundant, and allow yourself to feel into that as if it exists already. And then we've got make a plan. So just document and write down everything you want to achieve, just to get the ideas going. Look at how many ideas those people have in there. All sorts of different ideas. Work out your strategies. Apply a bit of logic to the creativity so that you can ground it into the 3D. And that's the thing. Quite often we have all these beautiful, wonderful ideas, but they need really grounding into the 3D. So we've also got 2 little road cards that fell out, which I'm going to get here. So we've got By the Book. I love that. That's so cute, isn't it? And Treasure Island. Now, because we're looking at what we're releasing and why, I want to say the whole element of this, in my mind, these could be sheep. I love these little elephants. They're really lovely. But, let's not follow other people like sheep. Let's not do things by the book. We can logically create our goals. And that does work. I was in the corporate environment for over 20 years, and you can apply logic and you can push and try and make things happen, and that was part of my survival previously. However, you can also start to work intuitively and not necessarily do things by the book, which can be a big adjustment within yourself, but does tie into, fully accepting yourself as you are and putting yourself out there without the mask. And by doing that, all this treasure will become available to you, because you're living at a soul level. You're living in alignment with your soul purpose. Just look at how much abundance, and it's all magical, below the surface and above the surface. So there's all those lovely little heart petals and different things below the surface there. So we're talking about on the inside of you and externally. So you're manifesting by shifting and changing the reality on the inside. You shift and change the reality on the outside, and that will happen by letting go of the notion that you have to follow everybody else. And 11's very much about looking at the self. So see, this is strategic, look like chess, like a chessboard. They're just going around doing things. Well, when you're working in more of a creative way, that doesn't apply. Now, we do have obviously making a plan, which I've just spoken about, where you can write down what you want to do. But I think working by the book is what we're leaving behind so that you can reach the treasure island. And then the final card, just to conclude this, and 2 fell out, we have got excellent life purpose. Oh, heck, and they tie in together so well. And I love the fact that it's the kind of a yellow colour and the purple, because they're complementary opposites. Life purpose, you know, the solar plexus is about intuition. This colour represents the crown chakra, which is about being connected to spirit. So this is a hugely massive change in time for you, in which it's about going with what your soul wants, not having a wobble, by focusing on service. So let me just read what those say to you. So life purpose. The purpose of your life is to serve in a way that brings great joy to yourself and others. Don't worry about finding your purpose. Instead, focus upon serving a purpose, which I love the fact it's come out with this card, and then your purpose will serve you. So the focus on service says your soul desires only to joyfully serve and to swim in a constant stream of bliss. And my stepmom often says to me, follow your bliss, which is what I'm doing with this, because I absolutely love reading the cards for people and hopefully having a really positive impact on your life. This stream continuously feeds you everything you need. Put your entire focus upon staying in this stream of giving and receiving in every situation, in all that you do. So those are the 2 final cards, which I'll just pop on the end there. They don't quite fit. So if you did want to work with me on what your life purpose is as well, I do that work also. Just pop onto the foxglovecoaching.com website, and you can, if you tick on spiritual guidance and just put in the comments field that you'd like to work with me about soul purpose, I can either do a spiritual guidance reading for you around that, and then we can also look at how to use different elements of your subconscious and unconscious mind to bring that to fruition. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching my video. Please do like and subscribe so you get information about when this is when new videos are coming up for you. And take care. Goodbye.